and the full team at Aspire for her. I think formally, once again, Dipika, we welcome you to the start of our SkillMaster session. And most of you have seen Dipika on our platform, and she's fantastic, simply gets the best out of the sessions. There's lots which is done through workshops, through fun. And at Aspire for her, we have just one mission and vision, which is getting women in the workforce. And all of you have seen it. But what is the difference? While we talk of women in the workforce, we always talk about CV building, LinkedIn profile building. And these are certain skills that we always talk in terms of getting, securing a job, whether it is a job, whether it is entrepreneurship, that's what we talk. But the one of the entire mindset change model that we work on is building confidence. And confidence comes from a lot of factors. And one of the things that I have also seen with many women is not comfortable about the way they are dressed. Grooming. What is the first impression? They look at people in the room and then they think, oh, am I just right for this occasion? Did I overdress? I'm not absolutely in sync with what's going on. And I think that is the first stage to confidence. But today, nobody has to worry about it because we have Dipika who's going to be taking us through it. Besides Dipika's session, I think the entire series this time is about the workforce, but with a twist. So you're not going to have your same LinkedIn sessions. You're not going to have your same CV building, but everything that's still going to make you stand out as an individual. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Doyle. But before that, I think a shout out to the full Aspire for her team, Suganya, Subha, Farisha, who've been working with excitement in our mission to get 1 million women in the workforce by 2025. Thank you. And welcome once again, Dipika.
Thank you, Ruchita, for that wonderful message. Thank you so much. Before we move on, this is an online session and there are a few ground rules that needs to be adhered to. Please keep a pen and paper handy in case of any technical glitch. Please have patience and bear with us. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box. Now, to begin with, a line which comes to my mind by Christian Dior. Grooming is the secret of real elegance. The best clothes, the most wonderful jewels, the most glamorous beauty don't count without good grooming. With that, let me introduce you to the speaker for the session, Dipika Singh, who is a learning facilitator, executive presence, communication skills. She is a D&I facilitator and a keynote speaker, a content creator. Her signature program is called Own the Room, where she teaches how to build confidence, public speaking, interpersonal skills, and positive body language. You can find more about this in her YouTube channel, She Means Business. We are excited to share with you that there will be a quiz and the winners will get vouchers. All the participants will get certificates for participation, so stay tuned till the end of the session. Farisha would request you to launch the quiz, please. Please participate in the quiz and see that you get those vouchers from us.
I think there's some fantastic questions.
We still have 30 seconds left, so I'd request the participants who have not yet, participated, please do so. Don't miss out on the vouchers. So here we are. Let's end the quiz now. Over to you, Dipika. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Doyle. Thank you, Ruchita. And a huge thank you to Aspire for her. It's always a pleasure to come back to this platform and do a session here. I'm seeing some questions on LinkedIn about how people can participate. So I think maybe you should just respond to them. We're actually in a Zoom session right now and beaming live on LinkedIn and other platforms. So the questions people can participate in only if you're in the Zoom session. If you want to participate in more such sessions, Aspire for Her puts out session information. You can sign up and you can join in. And today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is grooming, because I feel, and I know it is correct, that grooming, good grooming, actually leads to a lot of confidence. You just look and feel very confident, and you create the right impressions for people. You look like someone who looks after themselves, and that inspires a lot of confidence in other people as well, particularly in a professional setting. You want to look like someone. For example, you are working in a bank, right? You're going to a client to sell them a new product that you have, or get them to invest in a new product, or invest in your bank, or put money into your bank, right? You want to look like someone who inspires confidence. And that will only happen when you're really looking after yourself. Because if you look after yourself, you're well groomed and you're well put together, then you look like someone who's actually serious about their jobs, right? So grooming is extremely important. One of the questions I always get, all right, also this is going to be a very chatty session. I don't have a PPT and all. We just do a fun chatty session. If you have any questions in the middle of the session also, please feel free to put them in the chat box. I will take them up. One of the questions I get a lot is that as a young working professional, I don't get too much time for grooming, or it costs a lot also to keep yourself well groomed. For example, if I have to run for meetings the whole day, where is the time to look well groomed? I can barely reach the meeting on time. And the next question is that, what is grooming? At the end of the day, it's a very gray area. What is good grooming? So I'm going to share with you some very interesting tips and very interesting ideas that you could do, that you could to look well groomed all the time, right? And my first tip, always, 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 good grooming begins with your hands and feet. We don't realize it, but the amount of attention our hands and feet get when we're interacting with stakeholders, any kind of stakeholders, you've gone for a meeting, internal stakeholders, you've gone to a party, subconsciously, people do look at your hands and feet, right? So I think a large part of when you're stepping into the workforce, the one thing that we tend to forget is our hands and feet. You must not. So we focus on keeping our head neat, our clothes clean and ironed, but we forget the basics, which is hands and feet. So let me give you a tip. The one thing that you can do that costs nothing, pretty much, and takes no time at all, is to keep your hands and feet well moisturized all the time. It's a tip I recently gave out on my YouTube channel also. It's something so basic, but something that everybody overlooks. I'll tell you, and I'll give you an example. A very honest example I'll give you. When you look at your hands, sometimes, you see these little bits of skin coming out everywhere. And then also on your feet, you will see cracks, and you will again see little bits of skin. If you remember to moisturize your hands and feet regularly, feet is twice in a day, once immediately after your bath, once when you go to bed at night, and your hands pretty much, every 3, 4, 5, 6 hours in a day, but continuously if you do it, not like all the time also, but you just keep them moisturized, you will never have the problem of dry hands and feet, and they will automatically look extremely well groomed and, very neat. The idea is to look neat at all times, right? So it's a tip that we all know. Subconsciously, we all know this. We've read it 1,000 times. We all know this, but we don't practice it. So if you do that, and I know many women who do, men too, if you keep your hands and feet moisturized, they will just look neater. Also, buy yourself, I have one, and you must have one, a manicure kit and a pedicure kit. You don't even need a pedicure kit. You need a scraper, which you use every day on your feet. That's it. Just having clean, well-maintained hands and feet does so much for your grooming. So for me, it's the basic. Keep your nails extremely, neat. Don't keep them very long. I see this trend on Instagram. I was looking at, I'm not even going to name, but I see a lot of these fashion accounts on Instagram with some very long nails, which is very good if you're an Instagrammer in fashion, not so good if you have to get up and go to work. So I'm not saying take away style completely. Please don't. I love style. I paint my nails. I wear very bold, bright lipsticks. I wear a lot of, bold, bright colors. Don't take away your personal style. If you enjoy being stylish, do it, but do it in the right way. So wear dark nail polish if you must. It's perfectly okay, but ensure your nails are not very long. Long nails completely take away. They look very unaesthetic, very, very unaesthetic. So keep your nails well-rounded or squared, whichever you want. Keep long nails, but don't start, making them into talons. And if you're going to put very dark colors, again, a tip I will give you, very dark colors also means much shorter nails. You don't want to have both very dark nails also and keep them very long as well, right? So the darker the colors that you like to put, keep your nails as short as possible. This, honestly, again, I'm going to repeat myself. We don't think about this too much, but it's one of the simplest tips. Your hands and feet, one of the simplest tips to look well groomed. So practice that, make it into a habit. Good grooming is also about habit. It is very easy to slip. नहीं करते हो, 5 दिन नहीं किया, 10 दिन नहीं किया, फिर नहीं करोगे. रोज करोगे तो it becomes a habit, right? If every night you will tell yourself, I am going to put cream on my feet, it will become a habit. And grooming is about good habits at the end of the day, right? So make it into a habit, make good grooming into a habit, and keep elevating your grooming as you grow, both personally and professionally. So hands and feet. First thing that you have to. The second thing I want to talk about is, your hair. Keep it as neat as possible. Again, in fact, let me tell you a wonderful story. I started my career in, I haven't given an introduction, in my own words. So I was in marketing for many years. And then a few years back, I was working with Kingfisher Airlines. And when that folded up, I wanted to start something of my own. So then I developed a few workshops, and today I'm a speaker. And I speak on presence, which means how every room you walk into, you can command it and you can own it. And each of us has different ways of commanding a room. Some of us are very good with our communication skills. Some of us are very empathetic. Some of us have great storytelling skills. Each of you will have a unique personality, which will help you to really own and command a room. And that is the strength you should build on. Some of the things are basics and, common to everybody who wants to own a room, like body language, like excellent communication skills, like your posture. Storytelling is something all of us should learn, and grooming and looking well put together. So that is what I talk about. Going back to my story, I started life in advertising, and my boss, we were looking after a lot of clients. We had a lot of accounts, and a lot of these accounts were MNCs. MNCs has just started coming into India. A lot of these accounts were MNCs. So I used to see my boss. Every time we had a meeting to go to, she would do 2 or 3 things which would instantly change her. Instantly change her. So one thing, of course, is that she would always keep wet wipes with her. In her bag, there were always wet wipes. And, the minute we would reach somebody's office, she would ensure that she would dab her face. Just gives you a very fresh feeling and just makes you look cleaner. One more thing, before leaving for a meeting, and I found this very fascinating. Before leaving for a meeting, in her desk drawer, she always used to keep a hair straightener. Always, And, like this, when your hair is flying all over the place and all of that, she would just take that hair straightener and aage ke baal, just the front of the hair, she would straighten. Automatically, the frizz would go away and she would just look neater. And I thought to myself, what a cool trick. What a cool trick to just, make your hair just look a little bit more tame and a little bit more settled than what it becomes, especially in most cities in India. It's humid, it's hot. Most of the months are humid and hot, and your hair becomes very frizzy. She would do that. And I was like, ye to I will always do my entire life now, it's a tip that I have not forgotten. Keep a hair straight now, straighten your hair. And of course, the cleaning of this thing she would do. And of course, perfume. Perfume and deo is one thing. She was always smelling good. So these three things I remember as a very young person. When you're very young, you start work, you're so bogged down by the work and by learning and so overwhelmed by people and clients that you don't think about all of this. But it was great to have a great boss who I learned this three things from. So these are the simple tips. So your hair should look extremely neat at all times. So work with a hairstyle that you can maintain. I go to the person who does my hair and I tell him that एक ही चीज I just want कि brush करने पे neat लगना चाहिए. So don't complicate my hairstyle too much. It should look nice and I should be able to maintain it all the time without having to do any complicated stuff with my hair, right? So your hair should look very neat and very clean. If you have any questions, keep putting them in the chat box and I will keep, I will keep answering them, right? So your hair. The next thing that I want to talk about is, of course, simple things. There are some things that are extremely, you don't even want to talk about them because I'm assuming these are things that you will always keep in mind when you start your career. Always use deo. Your odor is something that you must work on. So you should always smell fresh. So when you're in a room with people, or even when you're talking to people, you don't want to put them off. So a deo and a good perfume. And again, I will repeat myself, money is very elastic. Always remember, grooming mein money is very elastic. You will get good perfumes in $500 also, and you will get good perfumes in $200 also, and you will get good perfumes in $5,000 also, right? So at every point, you will find good stuff. The idea is to just build a habit and buy those products that ensure that you look well groomed. So again, a deo is a must when you step out. That's another one thing that should always be in your drawer. And like, you get these sample scents or small bottles of scents. Again, perfumes, again, keep them in your office. Or if you're working from home, I have these tiny sample sizes that you get, which I put in my bag, which, anywhere I reach for a meeting, I just have to dab one on. I don't want, and always keep something which is extremely natural. You don't want to smell like one, too much smell coming from you. That is also a put off. So select your perfume with care. It should be a nice day, fruity, floral, nothing too cloggy, nothing too heavy. So perfumes are light or heavy. It should always be a light perfume. A light perfume is one that has very light notes. A heavy perfume is one which has very heavy notes. Google perfumes, learn about perfumes. It's fascinating to understand the notes, the mid notes, the heavy notes, all of that. Very interesting too. But always use a light note, which means it's citrusy, fruity, and nothing that, smells too much or clogs your nose. Always be smelling nice. Always, when you go for a meeting, when you're meeting people, always be smelling nice. So that's another tip that I wanted to give you. Another tip I want to give you, which is not very basic, which a lot of people will possibly not talk about, is that a lot of us buy clothes off the rack. We buy ready-made clothes, right? We walk into any store and we buy shirts and we buy trousers and we buy kurtas, for men trousers, blazers. I'll give you a grooming tip, which if you can follow this, it would really be, very, it really helps. Alter your clothes as per your body type. Nothing looks better than well-fitted clothes. Clothes that are not too tight and clothes that are not too loose also. And sometimes what happens is you buy a garment which looks very nice, but from one area, it could be very loose, or one area, it could be very tight. Get it altered. You'll just feel better about that garment when you wear it. And you will also, just look better. So for example, I'll tell you that men, when they buy trousers, in most outlets, if you go and buy trousers for men, bottom seams, नीचे का जो seam होता है, वो stitched नहीं होता है. As per height, you give your length, and as per height, they will stitch it for you. In some places, stitched trousers you get. In the case of women, most trousers come stitched at the bottom, right? The length is already done. And most women do not alter the length of the trouser that they buy, which means I have seen trousers where they're trailing on the ground. You know, you're wearing flat chappals or zameen pe, ground pe, those, trousers are trailing on the ground, or sometimes they're very loose at the bottom. So when you buy a garment, you really liked it, but look at it very critically. There may be some aspect of it which is not as per your body size, right? Alter that. So if your trousers are too long, get one stitch done to make it as per your size. So typically your trouser should be till like half an inch underneath, that point where your leg meets your foot, about half an inch. There should be a slight curve. That's all, right? So just get it stitched so that it doesn't look untidy and it's not trailing on the ground, particularly when you're wearing a flat shoe or a flat sandal, right? So these small alterations will go a very, very long way in making you look more groomed, and at the end of the day, more, neat. And again, these are things that we don't think about too much. But I want you to think about women who are role models. If you really think about women at senior positions who really carry themselves very well and look very sharp, these are small things that they do. These are very tiny things, just altering the length of your trouser. Or sometimes, you buy a kurta and it's a very nice kurta, but it's like really, it's slightly tight at the waist. So what happens is when you sit in a meeting, automatically your mind goes to that tightness on the waist and you just keep thinking, Are bahut tight hai. Are yaar. But does that happen with you? So little bit of alterations will go a long way to make you look, neater and much better groomed. So that's my next tip for the day. Any questions? Please put them. I can't see anybody, so I'm assuming it's a webinar, right, Doyle?
Yes, it's a webinar.
Okay, so put questions in the chat box. Keep putting questions in the chat box and I will be able to see them. Any grooming questions you can put in the chat box, right? The next thing that I want to talk about for good grooming is, appropriate footwear. Again, this is something that we don't think about. We firstly, though, as women, and most of the people in the room right now who registered are women, because that's how we work at Aspire for Her. Finding footwear which is both comfortable and stylish, and you have to wear it the whole day at work, is such a challenge. It is actually a challenge. Either you get comfortable footwear which looks blah, or you get really stylish footwear which kills your feet. I am now nearly, for 48 years now, I have been searching for one pair which will fit both my criteria. I don't think I've ever found. Or if I find one, and that's a trick I have, if I find a footwear that looks good and is also comfortable, I buy them in all colors immediately. So if I have bought something or ordered something online and I really like it and I feel, wow, I've ordered it in black, for example, and I'm like, this is heavenly, I will order a tan also, and then I will order a white or a cream also. And I'm like, wow, I'm sorted now. I found something that, ticks all the boxes, and, that is what I'm going to now stick with. So, but it should be appropriate. Again, look at your garment and then look at your footwear, and I don't want to go into that because it's a full thesis in itself. But follow a few people who do excellent workwear content or workwear reels and see what works. For example, if you're wearing trousers, then V straps don't work with them. Not at all. It has to be either closed-toed shoes, or if you can't wear closed-toed shoes, because I also find it very difficult to wear closed-toed shoes through the day, then you have to wear something where the top strap covers your entire, like goes across your foot. It has to look formal with trousers particularly, and those T-shaped, the V-shaped strap you cannot wear to work. You just can't wear to work, right? It has to be horizontal straps that you wear to work. That's a slipper otherwise, right? If you're wearing Indian wear also, what is the kind of footwear that goes? And that's another thing between Western wear and Indian wear. Western wear, in most outlets, you walk into an outlet and there are separate sections. This is workwear, this is casual wear. So workwear is defined. In Indian wear, workwear is not defined. There's just suits lying there, right? And now you don't know which suit you can wear to work and which suit you can't wear to work. And with Indian wear, perception is vastly different. What you think looks, or what I think looks like workwear, you may think looks like shadi. So there's a lot of perception difference as far as Indian workwear is concerned. So stick to non-heavily embroidered, good prints. And always my trick for workwear is solids. If you wear solid colors, or if you wear very light prints, or just one little panel of embroidery, it just looks very formal. And also I've realized with Western wear, if you have solids, you can mix and match. So you don't need a very large wardrobe also. You can mix and match and wear one good accessory and you're sorted. And one good pair of shoes and you're sorted. It's actually very simple. So you look at solid colors, you will, automatically look extremely formal. The next thing I want to say is that there's a question. Oh, high ponytail or braid, both goes. Depending upon the length. If your hair is very big, voluminous, you may want to tie it up into a braid. If it is, lesser voluminous, you may just want to leave it in a ponytail. The trick here is really that it should look neat. Again, I always say that don't take away from your personality too much, right? The idea is to look as neat as possible. So if a braid looks neat, depending upon the quality and the volume of your hair, a braid should do. If you think a ponytail is something that looks neat at work, a ponytail will do. If your hair is very flyaway, like my hair is very flyaway, it becomes like this, right? So I use a very little bit of serum, or my husband has this hair little wax he has. Sometimes when I have a very important workshop or a meeting and I know that I haven't had time to wash my hair, or it's looking very frizzy, I take a little bit of serum or a little bit of wax and I straighten it out. It just sticks. It just looks neater. So these are simple tips that you can use on your hair. So choose a hairstyle that goes best for the kind of hair that you have. You can also leave your hair open. Honestly, there is nothing stopping you from leaving your hair open if you have neat hair. If your hair stays in place, then it looks neat. You can also leave your hair open. Remember, if you stay in a very hot city, then you don't want to sweat, so also as per the weather. In summers, mostly you will see my hair go up. I put it up away from my neck because if I have to go for a meeting, etc., then I start to sweat over here. So away from your face and away from your neck will just make you feel cooler in summers. So ponytails and buns in summers is a good thing to do. In winters, you can experiment with the hair a little bit more, leave it open or put it into a ponytail, as long as it is looking neat. My only tip with hair is that it should look neat. Even open hair you can keep, but it should just look neat, not be falling over your eyes. Another tip, never ever, I say one eye, a lot of people nowadays, I can't see one eye. How can you talk to someone when you can't see one eye? How can you have a serious discussion over some presentation if you can't see one eye? So never, your eyes should be clear. And I will say this again, communication skills is more about, body language and expressions than it is about the words that you're using, right? And somebody mentioned charisma. Charisma is a lot to do with your body language and the way you carry yourself. And if people can't see your face clearly and your hair is not away from your face, they will not be able to read your expressions. And it's also very annoying. So keep your hair away from your face as much as possible. Even if you're going to have shorter hair in the front, ensure that it doesn't come into your eyes. One more thing, when you go for a meeting, firm handshake and all is good, but don't keep doing this. Don't keep, fidgeting with your hair, adjusting your hair. Is my hair look? Not once in the workshop, except for this a couple of times. I will not do this, I will not. So never keep running your fingers through your hair, right? Keep it in such a way that it is neat and then you don't have to touch it. So hair is critical. Hair can make or break the neat look. So you can do what my boss used to do when you're going out for a meeting, just straighten it out or use a little bit of serum, or use a little bit of wax or gel to, keep it neat and to prevent flyaways. Don't let them fall into your eyes, and don't, keep adjusting it and all. Ek bar karo, and that is it. So work with a hairstyle that is the neatest for the type of hair that you have, and then stick to it. You can experiment also. You can experiment with hair accessories also. Anything that looks very polished and sleek, which brings me to my next point. Rule of one with accessories. Rule of one. I will not count your watch in this, but apart from your watch, one big accessory. One. Anything else will make you look like a Christmas tree. You can't do it, right? So a good piece of jewelry or a good piece of accessory is a very good idea. It immediately elevates your look, but keep it professional. Clean lines, very clean lines is what we call it. So clean lines are, square chokers or a very nice straight necklace, or, again, square. So something like this, for example, is very clean. It's a very, very clean piece of jewelry, but only one slightly big, or only one what I call statement piece of jewelry. Anything else that you wear has to be minimal. So if you're wearing a chain, then you wear studs with it, right? If you're wearing very small pieces, then then multiple small pieces is the okay idea. So if you're wearing tiny earrings and you're wearing a small chain with it, and you're wearing one kada with it also, is good, as long as everything is minimal. But if you're going to wear one big accessory, everything else needs to disappear. Just disappear. Either disappear or become like really tiny. So if I'm going to wear like even a earring like this, I ensure that I'm not wearing anything in my on my neck at all. So any one piece of good statement jewelry actually elevates your look, provided you learn to select your piece or your accessory with care, and then ensure that that is the only, let it stand out. Let it become a part of your personality. Let it stand out. You don't want to confuse people with too much print and then too much accessories happening. Elegance is, you shining through, and not your colors or the print and too much jewelry shining through. So learn to put your look together in such a way that your personality is far more standing out than anything else on your body. So your hair should not be distracting. The print should not be distracting. Too much earring should not be distracting. Your expressions and your words is what should hold people's attention. Everything else is to add to your personality. Everything else is to add to your personality, right? So choose your accessories with care. Someone asked me a question on my favorite topic, which is saris, right? What kind of saris to wear to work? I love saris. I have been wearing saris, I think, since I started. I think sometimes I joke. I started working only because I wanted to wear saris to work. I just love saris. Saris are great to wear to work. Select your fabric with care. I think that's the most important thing. Soft cottons, maheshwaris, kotas, chanderis, light silks. If you live in a slightly colder, temperature, these are excellent. Excellent. So anything which doesn't cling to your body too much, and anything which doesn't stand out from your body also too much. So a mull, for example, malmal nowadays is very in. It's very in. I personally would suggest against wearing it to work, right? Or a chiffon, I would personally suggest not wearing it to work, or a georgette. These are fabrics that stick to your body and really take the shape of your body. So not happening. Some fabrics really, some cottons, for example, really they're very stiff, right? They don't take the shape. They're very difficult to carry. Not suitable for work. Soft cottons and soft silks are really, really good to carry to work, right? So anything handloom really works. If it's a handloom cotton, I love wearing jamdanis to work, whether power loom or handloom. So soft material, it could be anything. But so when you select your sari, look at the material more than anything else. It should be a nice material that doesn't cling too much and that doesn't stand out too much as well. Select your colors. I leave the colors up to you. Indian saris come with some very beautiful colors. I stick to a no zari policy at work. Ideally, if there is zari in my sari, it has to be very minimal. It could be one line of zari, There is this one sari I once wore, which had square, very tiny checks of zari, but no big borders in zari, not to work at all. Some states, yes, wear. So more in south of India, yes, a lot more zari, because it is the culture to wear a lot more sari. If it works where you are, then why not? In the Northeast, a lot of silk works. Assam silk is gorgeous. So also select your fabric depending upon where you stay and the culture of the place. But to me, anything which is too clingy, no. Anything that stands out too much, no. I avoid zari too much to work. And I also keep my blouses I wear a lot of sleeveless blouses. A lot of people are not comfortable wearing sleeveless blouses. A lot of organizations also, which is very sad for some reason, are not very happy when people wear sleeveless blouses. I leave it up to you. To me, again, plain blouses or plain blouse, I always have a set of, black, beige, red, pink blouses which go with every sari. But good blouses which are, square neck or round neck, similar square round, and cap sleeves, or long sleeves, or sometimes even full sleeves. I love full sleeves, blouses with saris. So I think which is smart. I think the trick here is to gun for smart. If you look, so again, I wanted to go look at, I think Instagram, if you look at Instagram from a perspective of learning rather than wasting time on scrolling, there's a lot that you can learn. I follow a lot of women on Instagram who wear some amazing saris to work. So anything that makes you feel comfortable, colors that make you feel comfortable, with smart, gun for smart, right? You should just look very professional and very smart. How you would want to look in a trouser and shirt, sari also, you should want to look smart. The minute you wear a sari, we begin to think of Bollywood heroines. When you're going to work, you're not a Bollywood heroine. Yes, you're on stage. You have to stand out. You're a star. But there's a subtle difference between, that whole Bollywood heroine look and a sari for work look. Very subtle difference. If you follow that, you will be able to know exactly what kind of sari to wear.
Deepika, someone had asked, what about body hair? What to do in terms of, grooming when it comes to
Yes.
grooming.
Yes,
And
I love that question on charisma. So, body rings. There's a question on body rings also, which again, it depends upon the place of work. I know a lot of people who in advertising, even I started my career in advertising and media, do wear. But you have to remember where you're working. It's very important to respect your place of work and respect more than anything else the stakeholders, the kind of clients you have, etc. So I would say that, and then take a judgment call basis that. I don't think nose rings, again, if you wear a nose ring, then if you wear like a tiny nose ring, something that again doesn't glaringly stand out, it's perfectly okay. It's another piece of jewelry. I know many, many women who wear nose rings. Again, with rings, like with other accessories, your size, the size, if it's standing out too much, and if you're trying to make a statement with it, and if you're rebelling with it, again, that overpowers who you are. I think any accessory, any garment, anything about you has to complement you rather than become the standout feature. So you don't want, anyone to actually only think about that. You need to be remembered for your talent, who you are, your personality, right? So wear what you want to within, of course, the culture and the place and everything, everywhere that you stay, but or work. But also remember that at no point do you want it to become the talking point or taking away from your personality, right? So think about that. That is my suggestion to you. Body hair is a complete no. I'm not of the school of thought who says ki no, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not. It's about, again, cleanliness and grooming. And I see no reason to rebel in this at all. I'm sorry if I'm sounding very old school in this, but this is a needless rebellion. There is so much to rebel about, and it's just about neatness. And then there will be arguments about, but men sometimes don't, take off their body hair, or, needless arguments. I just think that I think about how good you feel. I feel very good when my upper lip is done and my eyebrows are neat and I don't have, hair sticking out. So I think confidence comes from who you are and how comfortable you are in yourself, and also how you're able to project yourself, right? So for me, again, old school. But because this is also a part of my job to tell you, good grooming, I would say that, this is not an area that you want to rebel in. So remove body hair. You will yourself feel good and you will yourself feel neater about it as well. And there is no, question of, let's not bring gender, etc. into this. I just think that it looks neater, it looks cleaner, and you will feel more confident and you will feel neater and cleaner about it. And so this is for me not an area of, discussion. For me, you should get rid of body hair as much as possible. And there are enough and more easy ways to do it now. I just feel much more confident about myself. The thing about confidence and the thing about grooming is that the thing about confidence is really that confidence comes from within. There is nothing that you can do. It's not outwardly at all. Confidence comes from within. It comes from your belief in yourself. It comes from knowing your strengths and your skills. It comes completely from knowing yourself, right? But there are also times when you can project confidence by faking it, right? Like your body language, for example. There are times when, you will be dying of nervousness, dying. I know that. I walk into leadership workshops pretty much every day, and not every day do I feel confident. There could be like a really senior team of a company sitting, and I have to ensure that they listen to me. I have to ensure that they learn from me. They're open to, actually learning from me. And sometimes that can be very unnerving, right? So while I know my subject very well, and while I know that, yes, I am good at it, my confidence comes from within, sometimes just faking it. So walking into a room, looking and feeling tall, with my head straight, a smile on my face, my body language absolutely powerful. It just tricks me and them into thinking that I'm very confident. And yes, this is someone I want to listen to, right? So while confidence comes from within, and you can say, my outwardly, this thing doesn't matter, it does. It does. In how people, so if I walk in not feeling confident or not looking confident, I've lost the battle. These are people I want, 2 days or 3 days, sometimes a training workshop runs. I want them to listen to me. I want them to be confident. If I walk in looking not confident, they're not going to listen to me because I'm not inspiring confidence in them. However well I might know my subject, right? So confidence is both. It comes from within also, but it also comes from the way you package yourself. And that's very, very important. And I want you to think back on some of the people that who walk onto a screen or who walk onto a stage and they completely hold our attention and dissect them. You will realize that looking well put together and looking groomed is a part of those people. There are people that when I see on interviews, for example, I love listening to Priyanka Chopra on interviews because she speaks so well. I love listening to Shah Rukh Khan. I love listening to Oprah Winfrey. I love listening to Michelle Obama. And for all of them, looking well put together and looking well groomed has been like the lowest hanging fruit. That bit is so they always look very sharp. They always look well put together because the confidence comes from there. So I would suggest that everything that makes you look very well groomed and very well put together is like a must. I want to leave you behind again with one more thing, makeup. Again, since there are a lot of women in the room, makeup is again to enhance and add to your personality and to your features, right? So look at yourself carefully and ask yourself, makeup is about knowing yourself and knowing what enhances my features and what takes away. Again, any color or anything that you put on your face has to complement you rather than stand out as something that, stands out, right? So look at makeup also from that perspective. Again, simple rule of thumb, one bold color. If you are going to put a bold color, I like putting bold color. Sometimes I'll put a red lipstick or a pink lipstick and I love it. But then I ensure that everything else is minimal, so I will not put very like a lot of dark eyes or eyeliners, etc. I will not do that. My blush, I would always say that firstly, keep your makeup minimal. You don't want to cake up your face because at work, through the day, that face will begin to look very heavy. The more makeup you put, the more it will crease and the more heavy your face will look and you will not look and feel fresh. Stick to minimal, fresh makeup. What nowadays a lot of Instagrammers say the no makeup look, but there is makeup. But stick to stuff that suits you. My eyes, I know that eyeliner around my eyes instantly lifts me up, makes me look less tired, makes me feel less tired. So that's like a must for me. A nice bright lipstick is a must for me, and very little color on my cheeks is a must for me, because again, it makes your face look fresher. So find your makeup tips, experiment till you find something which looks professional, which makes you feel fresh, but which complements you rather than takes away from you, right? Everything about grooming should be neat, clean, and adds to your personality and complements your personality rather than takes away from your personality. I think that is very, very important. And at this point, I'm going to just check if there are any questions at this point.
Deepika, there is a question where, someone is asking, can we have a watch always on hand, or what is the accessory that is must for women professional?
There is no accessory. So I won't say there is a must accessory, right? Again, it is your personality, what you can carry to work. Anything that makes you look smart, professional, elegant, adds to your personality. For me, a watch is a must. Yes. For me, most of the times, today I'm at home, I'm not wearing, but most of the times, one good ring is a must, is actually a must. And for me, earrings. So yes, a little bit of jewelry adds to your personality. One good accessory, I would say, is a watch, a good pair of earrings, or one good necklace, either a necklace which is like almost like a choker, or a necklace which comes till your chest, but nothing too jangly. It should not make any noise ever. Accessories should not make any noise, right? That also looks very, very good. But there can be accessories that you don't even think about. A good belt is a great accessory. If you're wearing trousers, or if you're wearing a skirt, for example, if you just put a good belt around your waist, that's a great accessory. So a watch and one good belt. Shoes, we don't even think of shoes, but a good smart pair of shoes, sometimes a contrasting color, great accessory. So I want you to look at styling as a concept. Again, go to Instagram. But one is wearing your clothes and one is styling your clothes. There are some amazing, there is this girl who stays, I think, in Australia. I'm forgetting where she stays. She does some beautiful workwear style, which is so simple and yet elevates her look so much. Your bag is a great accessory, right? A good bag instantly lifts you, instantly. And when I say a good bag, it needn't be a branded bag, or it needn't be an expensive bag, but a good bag that, quality is in the details. Uski stitching achhi hai, it is not falling apart. So you buy something that is going to last, looks clean, and then you look after it. My husband will take his bag, and every week on a Saturday, Sunday, he has a leather bag, he will polish it. So these are small things that you do to ensure that you bought something, you look after it, and it lasts longer. Also, he will actually do wax polishing on his bag, and you also ensure that the threads are not coming out. So a good smart bag that can carry all your essentials, but it doesn't weigh you down too much. Doesn't weigh you down too much. A good light bag in a good color, which goes with all your clothes, is a must. A good bag is a must. A good bag that complements whatever you are wearing. So a neutral color bag, it could be just tan, it could just be black. It could also be beige, or even perhaps a slightly off color like a red. But a good bag, which is well detailed and which is neat, is an absolute must. Another thing I want to say is that we don't realize, but the shoes that we wear, our mood depends upon it. You land up for a meeting feeling good, feeling bad, depending on the shoes that you're wearing. Really. So your shoes ka heel, ensure that you're always comfortable in those shoes. And if you're walking around too much, just ensure that you're comfortable in those shoes. So maybe very pointed heels you keep in office, you wear for a meeting, etc. Or if you're going out for a meeting, but ensure that your posture doesn't go for a toss. I realized when I was very young, if I was wearing very pointed heels and I was carrying a heavy bag, by the time the day was over, my posture was dead. my back was hurting, my shoulder was hurting, and you don't want to do that because it can affect your decision making capability. If your back is hurting and you're just feeling tired, it can actually affect your decision making ability. It can actually affect of the way you're reacting and interacting with people, right? So ensure that you're always comfortable, always. Even with your clothes, I was having this conversation with a woman who runs a clothing brand, and we were discussing how important it is to be comfortable in what you're wearing. When you're sitting in a meeting, if you're feeling a garment is uncomfortable, all your attention will go to that garment. So when you buy clothes and how you style yourself begins by knowing your body type and what you feel most comfortable in. I am not comfortable with anything that is tight around my waist. I will not be able to concentrate on a meeting at all or on a workshop. If I'm wearing something which is very tight around my waist, I will not be able to focus. All my attention will be there. It's too tight. It's too tight. So ensure that you know your body type and what you're most comfortable in, what you feel best in. You will look best in it also. You just feel best. Don't follow blind trends. What you feel best in, what you feel most comfortable in, find your best look in that. I don't wear trousers. I don't feel comfortable in trousers. I don't like trousers. Very rarely I will wear a trouser, but I avoid it because I just don't feel good and I just don't look comfortable and feel comfortable. Avoid it. Why even bother, right? So know your body type, know what you most feel comfortable in, what you most look comfortable in, and within that, then experiment, right? And you will find looks within that. Learn the art of styling, learn the art of, carrying good accessories that don't jingle and jangle. Never. Your accessory should never make any noise.
No.
One last question on bags. What is a good bag for work? One is, of course, your typical, like, your straight bucket sort of bag, hobo, a good hobo bag. You can Google these terms, a good hobo bag, a good bucket bag, anything that doesn't keep slipping off your shoulders. When you buy a bag, carry it around the store a bit and see that sometimes what happens is it has two straps and one strap keeps slipping down your shoulders. It's very annoying. You don't want to keep doing that when you're walking, tires you out, looks very inelegant. So select a strap, a single strap sometimes is very, very good. So select a strap with care and select a bag with care. Something that holds all your stuff, is comfortable to carry. Again, thin straps eat into your shoulders as well. So slightly broad strap is a very good idea, right? Broad straps is a very good idea. A bag that has both a shoulder strap also and you can carry it also is ideal. If not, carrying is very, very tough. So try and see that you have a shoulder. It could be long also up till your hips, or it could be short, like here also. It doesn't really matter as long as you're comfortable carrying it. It should be a smart bag. A biggish bag that can carry a lot of stuff is also good. Sometimes nowadays, you get smaller bags as long as it carries everything for you. For work, I would insist that you carry a big bag so that you can carry everything that you need for the day. One more tip I want to give you is that when you're at work, sometimes the offices are very cold. So this has happened with me. Most women will have this dirty looking stole, which they leave in the office, and they come back and every day they will wear that. My friend used to do that. And I asked my friend, but why do you always wear this? She said, but it's just office. I'm like, it's office. This is the one place where you need to create maximum impact. So keep like a neutral colored blazer at work. It could be a beige or a blue or a black blazer. Keep it at work. And every time you're feeling cold, wear that blazer if you're wearing formals, or keep like a nice shawl at work, or like a desi, like even if it was like a jacket, which you can wear over your saris and which you can wear over your suits as well. When you're feeling cold, wear that. Don't tie one old dirty stole around you. It's very important. I see people going into a meeting, they'll pick up this thing and they'll tie that little stole and they'll run off into a meeting. Please don't do that. Please wear a good jacket. You can wear bindis to work. Of course you can. Again, nothing too jarring, crystal, nothing. Just plain colored bindis and neutral colored bindis, black, red, nothing too big, unless, sometimes I feel some people stray away from the convention also. Sometimes, which is okay if you're really able to carry it and becomes a part of your personality. Again, you should carry it. You should be able to carry it comfortably so that If it's a part of your personality, it doesn't stand out. Sometimes we do things, we experiment with something, and if it is not a part of our personality, we feel very uncomfortable about it. And that shows. And that then becomes jarring. Right. So, for example, I don't wear dupattas at all. I don't wear suits with dupattas. But if I were to one day wear a dupatta, I will keep, handling it only. Right. And that then becomes distracting and jarring and then takes away from my personality. It's the same with bindis. If you wear tiny bindis, good bindis, and you're able to carry it off, it doesn't look jarring. But if you're not able to carry it off and you're uncomfortable, it shows. And that becomes jarring, right? So, yes, a laptop bag. If you carry around laptops, a laptop bag is, you can also carry a sleeve. It really depends. Two bags becomes difficult at times. So if you have only a laptop bag and then you have a diary, etc., which you can carry a sleeve and you can fold. I have a sleeve that I carry, actually, a laptop sleeve, and I put the laptop in the sleeve and the sleeve in my bag, right? Or you can just carry the sleeve wala laptop in your hand, just like that, like a notebook or something. For me to carry a laptop bag and another bag is just too much. It's overkill, because just for a laptop to carry one full bag, or carry a really sleek, almost like a sleeve kind of a laptop bag, that would really, really help. So I think those are my tips. We're also sort of running out of time. We're at 7.
Dipika, someone had asked about, the type of frames one can use if someone has specs, if there are specific colors or anything, or someone is comfortable.
Again, whatever is comfortable to you. These are things you can experiment with, actually. If you work in a very, very formal structure, then black and silver is what, black and silver frame works. But if you want to experiment with a red frame, or, it works as long as you're able to carry it, off. If you're wearing them all the time, then maybe think about it. But if you're going to wear them only because you have to look at your laptop and all, then I would leave it. Please follow me on Instagram. I'm at @shemeansbusiness_Dipika Singh, or on LinkedIn. I'm as Dipika Singh. If you're dropping off, I'm leaving it behind for you. But frames are black and silver and regular shapes. Within that, you can, also experiment. Yes. That's it from me. I do a lot of workshops on executive presence, and I also do a lot of tips on my YouTube channel and on LinkedIn and on Instagram. Instagram account is @shemeansbusiness_Dipika Singh, Dipika Singh. @shemeansbusiness_Dipika Singh. It was a pleasure. Like I said, it's my favorite topic. And I think someone had said that the lowest hanging fruit for charisma is how well put together you are. I always bring up the example of Suits. If you watch the series called Suits, Harvey Specter, I think he's the ultimate as far as, people looking well put together. I don't know how many of you really know this, but the lapel, go back and look at Harvey Specter and Suits, or just Google an image of his. The lapel that he wears is also the sharpest lapel. Most men wear a typical notch lapel on their jackets, on their suits. He wears what is known as a peak lapel, which is PEAKLAPEL lapel, peak lapel, which is also now what my husband wears. It's the most formal form of jacket. So, looking sharp and looking well put together. And I'll give you this tip. You should keep evolving. Keep evolving that, keep going up the ladder as far as looking sharp is concerned. And automatically, you look like someone who invests in themselves. Depending upon where you are, the kind of money you earn, look at all of this as an investment and not as a cost. And you don't have to buy a lot of very expensive stuff. But if you have the art of putting together your look and putting together a style and looking very, very sharp, and experimenting with clothes and buying, lesser but higher quality clothes. In fact, this is again a tip. When you buy shirts or skirts, look at the fabric and look at the detailing. It should be good fabric. A shirt that comes for 300 rupees or 500 rupees or 600 rupees, look at the fabric. You would rather invest in one shirt, which is slightly more expensive, than 3 shirts, which are, lesser expensive. So the fabric and the detailing really matters. Threads. Are the threads stitched neatly? Or are they all running over each other? When you develop an eye for details like this, automatically you start, questioning. I should invest in myself. I should look a certain way. And it really, really helps because this becomes like a given and a standard. When you learn to invest, when you learn to, look sharp, when it becomes a habit, when you begin to look well groomed, it becomes like a habit. And then you keep evolving, It's a delight to be well put together and look sharp. Yes, I'm at she means business _ Dipika Singh on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was a
Dipika.
pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure of ours, My sincere thanks and gratitude to you for taking the time out and guiding us through this hour-long session. I'm certain that it will help us in our respective journey. We look forward to having you again with us in the near future. Last but not the least, words will not do justice when it comes to thanking my team led by Madhura, Ruchita, and other team members with whom nothing feels too difficult to achieve and conquer. Until then, thank you all for joining this session. Stay well, stay safe, and have a very good evening ahead. Thank you. Take care. Bye.